sipping and roasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all. Sound of a party just about to begin, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza known internationally as the world-famous Smokin' and Toastin'. We are thrilled to come to you for show number 388 today, and we have a couple of themes. Our show, first of all, is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
I love those things.
Things we're looking forward to talking about and consuming as much of as humanly possible during the show.
Yes,
but for show number 388, we have a couple of themes. One is whiskey. We'll be talking about the 9 best American whiskeys, according to a new list. I think this should be interesting. The
9 best American whiskeys.
Yeah, so we'll take a look and see what the list looks like and see if you agree
I love how
or
definitive
disagree.
they are with the subjective
Oh, yeah. Well, you have
subject.
to be. There's no way to get clicks if your article is titled, "We think these 9 whiskeys may be pretty good." You know,
these are worth tasting, but your taste may be different.
Your mileage
that's
may
not so much clickbait.
Your mileage may vary. Instead, you're the 9 best American whiskeys right now.
That's right.
That's what you have to do.
I tasted these 9 American whiskeys, and you wouldn't believe what happened.
You wouldn't believe how people are talking about these 9 best American whiskeys.
We're like clickbait beasts, man.
For sure. So we're doing something a little bit different on today's show. Oh, I didn't tell you what the other theme was. The other theme is cake.
Oh.
So we're going to have a little cake theme in the beers today.
Did you bring some cake?
I didn't. I should have. But I brought the next best thing. Beer that is cake-oriented.
Oh, I like beer.
So we'll get to that and look forward to it, of course, on the program today. But I was mentioning this is a little bit different for us. Normally, we record the shows on Mondays. And that's the day we have the studio and everything's, set. And it gives, Adam in the Sky, our producer, the full week to put everything together and get it ready. And then we release the show both on podcast and videocast on Saturday because that's the day when it airs on most of our radio affiliates. Well, this week on Monday,
we decided to have ourselves a little hurricane.
Little no-go on driving to the studio. So it just turned out that we couldn't record the show until Friday. So now Adam will be doing a very fast turnaround to get everything ready. But we should be releasable on our normal times and venues on Saturday. So the interesting thing about this is then we will actually turn around and do another show in a couple of days.
Yes.
So we'll be doing lots of drinking is what I'm getting
catching
at.
right back up with each other.
That's what I'm getting at. Big thanks to last week's special guest, David Fowler from Reserve 101, who was so much fun.
That was a fun show.
Loved
Super
having
fun.
him on. He brought some really good whiskey, too. And then, of course, Roberto Rivas Villar, our friend of the show, who was here kind of facilitating. And when I say facilitating, I mean he came to drink the whiskey.
Yeah.
So,
well, he did bring a whiskey, too.
He did bring a whiskey, yeah.
So,
You gotta give him
he's a
that.
giver and a taker.
Yep. So we'll be trying some interesting things on today's program. We'll be trying a beer from Austin, Texas, Starbase Brewing. These guys have really come on lately. I'm seeing their beers
I don't know this one.
just about everywhere, all over the greater Houston area. And, of course, they're a big deal already in Austin. All of their beers are space-themed. We have breweries in and around the Houston area that are
True Anomaly.
True Anomaly, which is very astronaut and NASA themed, and we have who's the other? There's another one that's very space oriented with some of their titles. Anyway, the guys at Starbase Brewing.
Oh, Bad Astronaut.
That Bad Astronaut. Thank you. The guys at Starbase Brewing, though, have released a German-style Pilsner called Occupy Marz, M-A-R-Z.
I love it.
So they do that with their stuff. We'll be trying that. And then from a brewery that I absolutely love out of New Orleans, Urban South Brewery, and this is where the cake starts to come in, we'll be trying their sour ale called Carnival Time. It's a sour ale with king cake.
Oh, wow.
King cake being the Mardi Gras-based cake, which we'll talk more about when we get there. And
the last time I had a piece of king cake, I got the baby.
Did you? So we'll talk about that, too, because that's a thing that I still don't understand how the FDA allows to go on. The king cakes that they serve at Mardi Gras around Mardi Gras time in New Orleans have a little plastic baby inside the cake somewhere.
I got the baby.
Yeah, it's a choking hazard.
Oh,
How
yeah.
is that allowed? I don't even understand
But it's
that.
fun, so it's
Remember,
like,
if you get it and you don't die from choking, you have to bring the cake next year.
That's right.
That's what
That's the way. If you die from choking, all bets are off.
Yeah, you don't have to bring the cake next year.
I do not know if there's a little plastic baby hidden in the 16-ounce can of Carnival time.
we'll know if you start choking.
We'll be careful. That's what we'll do. And then keeping the cake thing going, from Magnify Brewing, we'll be trying their 9th anniversary gold label Born Day. It is what they call a birthday cake Imperial Stout. So we'll look forward to trying that and seeing what
Nice.
that's all about. And then from Barbados, a little rum for the program today. We'll be trying the Smuggler's Reserve Barbados rum. Did I give you the rum
That
for
sounds
the?
awesome.
Oh, no.
I didn't.
No,
we'll have
you know
to
what?
do that after
We
the
can do
show.
that,
We'll do
yeah.
the B-roll. Okay. So, also we'll be bringing you another drinking fact on today's program. Our little teaser for the drinking fact. I will tell you that I have now identified my phobia. Not the clown one, the other one. So I've identified exactly what it is, and I'll be sharing that with you on today's
Have you
drinking
seen
fact.
that shirt that has the spiral of cannot sleep, clowns will eat me?
No, I want one though. That sounds exactly like something I would wear. We'll also be bringing you the most popular segment on the program, a little something we call Drinking News, where we bring you a story that is often but not always about drinking, but is always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And today's Drinking News teaser headline: Stupid is as stupid does.
That's what Mom always said.
And we'll look forward to that. So a lot of other great things to talk about, including a new list of 16 great cigars under $8. That should be fun and interesting to walk through. And we'll even talk about a brewery that has been named the best brewery in the United States. Another one of those. The best brewery in the United States, named by Forbes.com. So if you're a rich person, or if you're a person who's not rich but you subscribe to Forbes anyway because it looks good sitting on your coffee table in your one-bedroom apartment in South
With your
Houston.
IKEA furniture.
With your IKEA furniture. Or better yet, the big spool reel for a coffee table that you stole
Nice.
from a construction site somewhere. Yeah, I think everybody had one of those in college. That was just a thing. I don't know how they even kept making enough of them to fix out all my friends and stuff.
Some factory really liked that. They were appreciative.
Yeah. Can you see the guys coming back on? Damn it, we lost another reel last night. I was going to use that for my coffee table.
And that one had all the wire on it, and they just unwrapped the wire and left it there.
Yeah, now people are taking the copper wire, but
Yeah.
back in the day, you didn't care about that.
It's
You
a
just
little heavy with the wire on it.
Yeah.
I saw a video of a truck trying to steal one off of a loading dock. Mm-hmm. And they rolled it in the back of the truck, and the back of the truck basically just hit
basically
the
wouldn't
ground.
go. Yeah, I think that's right. So we had a little hurricane here, Ian. How did you manage to weather the storm? Did you do okay?
Man, I don't have electricity yet. It's
not good.
that's Monday through Friday so far.
Yeah, wow.
It's supposed to be on by the end of day today. We'll see what happens because that doesn't always go through.
How are you keeping your beer cold?
Ice.
Smart man.
Just in case people don't understand, it's getting to be about almost 100 each day
Oh, I know.
after the
It's-
hurricane.
it's
It's stated
don't
about
get me
80
started
that
on
day,
our-
but yeah.
on our
It-
electrical.
There's a constant state of sweatiness. Like
Yeah.
you get out of the shower and you're dry off,
And then
you
you
were instantly sweaty again.
It's
Fans
not
don't
fun.
help. They just blow hot air on
It's
you.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
not-
well,
it's
fans
not
need
fun.
electricity, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I got one little tiny camp fan that takes 2 D-cell batteries. I did, however, borrow a generator from a friend, and so we had a cool night's sleep last night.
Well, that's nice.
So that was nice, but man, that thing sucks down some gas.
Yeah, I bet it does. And also, the fumes make the bedroom smell a little funky. But there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, they sent out
slept
an
really
alert.
good.
Hey, don't use your generator inside, and probably keep it away from your open windows and doors too.
Yeah.
Like who needs that device?
I had the bright idea that I was going to smoke a cigar during the hurricane. That did not work out. That did not work out.
Not so much.
Yeah, no.
I'm assuming you were talking about patio time.
Yeah. I thought if I stand just in the right place, maybe the water won't get me. No. Forget about it. No, the water was.
You know, I mean, here in Houston, even on the best of days, the rain goes at least 45 degrees.
Yeah, sideways.
So,
yeah.
so like even like I have a carport and I have a tarp covering one end of it, which allows me to sit out there and smoke under about 60% of rain conditions.
Yeah.
You know, because the other 40%, it's coming in 45 degrees from the other direction, and it's just going to hit you no matter where you are.
Yeah. I assume this was in that other 40%. Yeah.
This was special.
Yeah. So smoking a cigar during a hurricane is still on my bucket list. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll have another
cigar.
opportunity before
Yeah,
this
it's
hurricane
just July,
season is
and
over.
we usually don't get them bad until August, maybe September.
Exactly,
So got a couple more coming.
Do you have a chance to smoke anything interesting?
I
this
did,
week,
although I
even though-
didn't get out to do any real shopping, and a lot of places were closing without electricity.
Yeah.
So I went to an old standby in the humidor, and I grabbed a Nub Maduro 460. That's a 4-inch by 60 ring gauge. For those of you wondering what the number is for, that's what that's about. The appearance on this dark brown, semi-smooth. You know what? I should start with it's a Brazilian Maduro wrapper.
Oh, nice.
And Nicaraguan filler and binder.
You're already talking my language.
Yeah, I mean, we've all had the nubs, right? They're fantastic little cigars, and this one certainly didn't disappoint. Dark brown, semi-smooth, slightly oily, firm wrapper, single band that says Nub Maduro on it. The pre-light sniff on this, I get earth, I get chocolate spice, I get tea leaf, and cedar. Pre-light draw, I used a clip on this. I had an effortless draw, earthiness and spice, hints of chocolate and coffee. The initial light on this, tangy pepper and spices backed by rich earth. This does not have, oddly enough, a huge Nicaraguan pepper blast, although it does have a pepper presence right up front. But you really get the tanginess in the pepper and some spiciness that's outside of pepper by itself, and that real earthiness, I think, from that Brazilian wrapper. The first third of this cigar is cedar and chocolate. They dominate the palate, followed by pepper and spices. Finishes with coffee, solid ash, perfect burn. Second third of this, much the same, really. So this is a very solid cigar. I wouldn't call it a one-trick pony, but it's close to it, and it's really, really, really nice. The last third of this, pepper begins to ramp up. Cedar is strong. Coffee is more present. Chocolate notes remain. Solid ash, perfect burn. Price to quality at $8 per cigar. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay, so it didn't quite live up to it for you?
The problem is I love these cigars. They're fantastic, but they keep getting more expensive.
I'm with you.
When I used to buy them at $6,
Yep.
I would have rated it at a 7.
And so, for those of you who are not watching the video, the Nub is a short but really fat cigar. It's
Right.
With the ring gauge is just very, very big, but it's a short cigar. The advantage to them, though, is that they don't necessarily smoke all that fast. You would think you'd be done in a while.
Due to the ring gauge, I mean, the original idea for the Nub was to start a cigar at its sweet point.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I agree with you. I enjoy them. I do think they're becoming a little more expensive than a short cigar like that could be.
Now,
so I agree with your rating.
That being said, when you can find them on special and you can get a box of them right at $100, you're paying $5 a piece.
Yeah.
They are 100%. Then they're
All
punching
day.
above that 5.
All day. I got you. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. I'll tell you about my cigar for this week, and we'll also get into a little bit of the list that we have of the 9 best American whiskeys. Plus, we got tasting to do, my friends. It's Smoking and Toasting, and we will be right back. Welcome back, my friends. It is Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled
Lovely
cigars.
things.
We will be talking about all of those things, but first, it's time for one of the newer features here on our program. And Terry, our announcer, will take us to it.
And now, it didn't do it. There you go.
There you
And now it's time for another Smoking and Toasting Drinking Fact. That's fun.
That is the perfect fanfare for
Beautifully
this, isn't
corny.
it? I just absolutely love it. It's like a fanfare from the Lego movie or something. It's just wonderful.
My thing's still up.
So I've talked about this before, but I know I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I know that I do have a legitimate phobia of fear of clowns. That's real. Like, I'm not making that up. I wish I had a more original phobia than that, but that's the one that I have. And by the way, I'd like to correct though the people who came up with the official description for that phobia. The official description is an irrational fear of clowns. And I'm here to tell you my fear of clowns is 100% rational.
I view clowns much like I do ghosts.
Yeah?
I don't
You
necessarily.
don't believe that they exist?
I don't necessarily disbelieve that they exist, but as I've never been bitten by one,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of them.
Okay, well, you didn't.
Like snakes, a little bit of fear there.
Now all I can think
You've
of
been
is
bitten by a snake?
Yeah, well, a little bitty snake.
I just think of it.
Not a
bringing the
rattlesnake or
kid
anything.
down
Yeah,
and biting him.
Yeah. I was scared of clowns before it. I was scared of clowns from the first exposure I had to clowns, and I don't know what happened. I've blocked it from my memory, but I know the fear is still there. But apparently, that's not the only phobia that I have.
Uh-oh.
I also have Cinosilicophobia. 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 Apparently, I have this one too. And cinosilicophobia is our drinking fact for the day.
Oh, wait.
The fear of an empty glass.
Oh, I didn't know there was a name for that.
That is the scientific name for the fear of an empty glass. Cinosilicophobia.
See, I call that drangry.
Oh, yeah. Drangry. I like that.
You see?
Drangry. That's a good one. I'll have to remember that. All right. Well, maybe this will cure your drangriness. I've set a full glass of the beverage of mystery in front of you. So, Terry, if you could give us our official intro for the...
Push. Oh, come on, Bluetooth.
It's been a long week.
Yes, it certainly has.
The beverage of mystery.
I'd just like to remind you that anything that goes wrong on today's show, we can totally blame on the hurricane.
Yes.
So that's
Thanks, Beryl.
So here's today's beverage of mystery. I poured it for you guys. I brought this one in. The beverage of mystery is where only one of us knows what the beverage is we're about
It
to
smells
sample.
like pineapple.
And
I was going to say peach.
and then we'll taste it. We'll
I
talk
think the
about
last time I said peach and you said pineapple.
Yeah.
It smells like pineapple.
I got peach or apricot, but peach, I think. Or no, apricot. I'd say apricot,
I
actually.
agree with you, Terry.
That's where
Apricot.
I'm going, apricot.
It's fruity on the nose.
Oh. It tastes like that, too.
Kind of reminds me of some kind of a fruit punch. Doesn't it?
I actually don't mind this.
No.
It's not probably my favorite drink that I would reach for. It tastes a little bit like the like the concentrated juice that you get from a can.
Yep, totally.
You know,
Well, you are trying an Evil Water pastry seltzer.
this is better than most.
Yeah.
Peach, passion fruit, and coconut. And it is 5%. It's a seltzer-style malt beverage with peach, passion fruit, coconut. It's a collaboration with The Whale, a craft beer collective. And it is from Evil Water.
That's is that an Evil Twin affiliate?
I don't know. We'll have to delve into
Yeah,
that a little
brewed
bit.
by Evil Twin Brewing, Queens, New York.
Come back to talk about that next. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Once again, we remind you that all sound effects on the Smoking and Toasting show are 100% organic. Thank you for listening. I want to tell you about the cigar I had a chance to smoke this week while Ian is pouring our first beverage, the Occupy Marz German-style beverage from the guys at Starbase Brewing in Austin, Texas. I had a chance this week to smoke a Guardian of the Farm Campeon. I keep wanting to call it a Camperon, but it's a Campeon. The Campeon is a Toro-sized cigar, and Guardian of the Farm is a brand cooked up by Kyle Gellis of Warp Cigars and Max Fernandez of Casa Fernandez, now known as Aganor Salif. And it's named after the cigar maker's dogs. the faithful companions that roam the Aganorsa farms and keep watch over the factory in Nicaragua. Guardian of the Farm is an all Nicaraguan blend of Aganorsa-grown tobaccos using a Nicaraguan Jalapa Corojo 99 leaf for a wrapper, a Nicaraguan Corojo 99 for the binder, and Nicaraguan Criollo 98 and Corojo 99 for the blended filler, all of which is very difficult to pronounce, but can make for some pretty darn good tobacco. The Campeon is a 6x52 Toro size with a rounded torpedo-style head and a shaggy foot. The pre-light sniff and the cold draw gave me notes of barnyard and wet hay, some honey, spice, and a faint floral note. So I clipped off the cap with my cigar scissors, and I lit the shaggy foot, and we were off on another cigar tasting journey. Now, it goes against my better judgment to actually say this, but I did actually get a bit of a Nicaraguan pepper blast.
Do you want me to sing it for
from
you?
the first few puffs? I don't want you to sing it.
Every bit makes me feel fine. I'm going to stop there.
See, you at least spared me the jasmine.
There's
and
no
I
jasmine
appreciate
in my
that.
line.
I appreciate that.
Until I come up with a better line.
He pokes you with a thumbtack, but doesn't do anything to turn it.
Yeah. Well, there was definitely some pepper on the initial puffs of this. I also, though, got a creaminess, some notes of fresh brewed coffee, and a hint of coconut. The blend and complexity of the flavors was on full display as soon as the pepper ramped down a little bit. By the second third, I was picking up chocolate, more coconut, citrus zest, and baking spices. And the pepper seemed to kind of shift from black pepper to white pepper and then back again. It was kind of diverse in that way.
That's
which I thought
interesting.
was pretty cool. After the NPB died down, the Guardian of the Farm Campeon settled into a medium-bodied groove in terms of strength. But by the time I hit the final third, it was a full-on beast, full-bodied to say the least. And yet the flavors still found their way through. The red and white pepper rotation added, the black and white pepper rotation added red pepper to the mix. Now it would kind of like phase between the three. And I still got a creaminess, which made the peppery power a little bit less overwhelming. Construction was very good, with only a few minor touch-ups needed to keep it burning straight and steady. It seems like a lot of what I've been reviewing lately on the show here has turned out to be full-bodied cigars. And to be honest, I really wasn't expecting that from the Campeon, but it delivered a powerful punch along with a lot of subtle flavors, and I enjoyed it very much.
It's a little deceptive in the way it looks because it's got that really light-colored wrapper on it.
Right, that's 100%. And that, I guess that's why I wasn't expecting.
The Coleman is the same way.
Yeah. And but it turned out to be quite a beast, at least by the final third. So eat something first, but this is a great after-dinner cigar, and especially because it checks in at between $8 and $9. So I'm going price to quality a 6.
Nice.
But it's for experienced smokers only. Honestly, there are $12, $13 cigars I've had that are not as good as this.
Nice.
Yeah, so as long as you can handle a little full-bodiedness, you're good to go.
It's been a while since I've reviewed any of the Guardian of the Farm, but I like them every
My
time.
last experience with a Guardian of the Farm cigar actually wasn't that good. It
Really?
was it kind of didn't burn well, and I wasn't that impressed with the flavors. I didn't know what to expect with this one coming in, but it was good. It was very, very good. So, all right. So you poured us a little beer here, my friend.
I did.
Now, the Occupy Marz, M-A-R-Z, is a German-style lager. And interestingly, comes in at 6.2%, which is kind of high for a lager, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. German stock.
Used to lagers being 4 and 5, in terms of their ABV.
Says the inspiration for years, the slogan "Occupy Mars" has been a rallying cry among space enthusiasts and dreamers. With this beer, we strive to capture the essence of that epic cosmic ambition. This brew is not just a tribute to the potential colonization of the red planet, but a celebration of the boundless curiosity and daring that drive us towards the future.
The only thing I think that could have been a cooler name than Occupy Mars is if they'd taken the Arnold Schwarzenegger line from that movie, "Get your ass to Mars." What movie was that? Total Recall. Thank you. That's exactly what it was. Thank you.
That was.
Terry's always good with the movie references.
The machine.
Yeah. Get your ass
German
to
malts
Mars.
and noble hops balance each other in perfectly in this rich and bready amber lager with a full body and slight hint of roasty sweetness. This brew is a timeless ode to the dusty sands of Marz that we one day hope to occupy.
I can't believe you're reading the can and not raving about this beer. This seems to me like it is right up your alley.
It's really good.
It's got that sort of roasted maltiness that that German style lagers that have. What it doesn't have is a lot of beers that have Marz or Marzen in the name have a certain, like, I don't know how to describe it, a certain flavor that is not as appetizing to me, and that flavor is missing here. I've just got malt and
There's
yeasty
an upfront
goodness.
sweetness that a lot of Marzens have, and Oktoberfest beers will have kind of like that as well, because a lot of Oktoberfest are Marzen style beers. That this doesn't have. This is, I think, leaning a little more of the lager side. It's a little crispier right up front.
Yeah.
Does have the malty, roasty thing and a little sweetness going on, and it finishes nice and crispy. I really enjoy this beer. This is very German tasting beer.
I really want a pretzel right now.
I like the finish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
when
like
they say the bready note in here, it's really, really like pretzel kind of bread.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
Absolutely digging that. That is fantastic.
Probably make a good beer cheese out of it too.
And this,
yeah.
good, yeah. So this is a brewery out of Austin, Texas, Starbase Brewing. I think they are relatively new, but they've been at least taking our area by storm. I'm seeing them
the goals
everywhere.
of Starbase Brewing are to spread awareness for space exploration, to develop new technologies that directly benefit Mars colonization, and to be the first brewery on Mars.
That is a cool goal.
Their facility is
Talk about a bucket
100%
list.
powered by renewable energy, and they offset their carbon footprint. Let's see, 1% of profits are donated to science education in Texas.
Well,
I think it's 1%. It might be 7%. It's a little tough to read.
yeah,
It's
that's
super
very
tiny.
small print. I'm glad you're attempting it because I wouldn't.
Oh,
be
I've
able
got
to do it.
even with my glasses on, it's a little hard to read that one.
Yeah, I think that the guys at this say the name of the brewery for me again. I'm sorry. It's
Starbase.
Starbase
Brewing.
I think that they are, a very well respected new brewery, but they're not, in fact, the best brewery in the U.S.
It says they're the official brewery of Mars, though.
Ooh.
Well, that's a pretty
It
big
says
deal.
established on Earth.
Wonder how much they had to pay
Brewed
Marz
in
for
Mars.
that.
This is unlike the evil twin or evil thing can that we had. This is full of information. There's stuff all over this. I keep turning and reading more parts. Engineered and brewed by Starbase Brewing, Austin, Texas.
I'm trying to get my story to load because
You sure need to get your story right.
Yeah, I do. It's a story about the best brewery in America, and for some reason,
Right now.
Forbes.com is not loading properly. So let's see.
Oh, that's a little frustrating.
Yeah, let's see if I can figure it out here.
Best brewery in America.
Yeah,
It's gonna be something we never heard of.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Here we are.
Anheuser-Busch.
All right, I've got their site to load, so let me see if I
I
can.
can't even pick
search
off the
on
top
it
of my
now.
head. I can't even totally pick the best brewery in Houston because there's so many good ones and they're good at different things.
Well, that's 100% right. And if you think about, you also have a tendency to overlook the ones you've known for the longest too. Like what brewery does stand up to St. Arnold, even though you maybe don't think of them as new and super hip and exciting. in the
on
same
a
way.
little bit different level though, because that's that mid-sized brewery rather than the microbrew. But they do some microbrew style stuff, which is really fun. But I'm going to say here in Houston, some of my favorites, True Anomaly is outrageous. 11 Below.
11 Below is
11
good.
Below has some great beers, including Oso Bueno, which is a wonderful double entendre with the picture of the bear on it.
And I really enjoy Great Heights. I think they've got
Great
some good
Heights
things
is
going
really
on.
good, right? Agreed.
Well, this is a little
Eureka
frustrating.
Heights also has some nice brews. It's hard to even pin down just a brewery in Houston.
Well, we may not know the best brewery in America because I can't get that page to load, and I can't find it when I search Forbes' website. So it's something we'll keep trying and maybe get to a little later in the show. But as you all
Sorry
know,
about the tease.
we can blame this on the hurricane.
Hurricane, definitely.
Hurricane certainly caused this this glitch in this ghost in the machine. Yeah. Okay. So there's my pick.
I resolved that wrong, by the way. There it is.
There's my pick for the best brewery in the United States.
Are you thinking Parrish?
Parrish, yeah. Those guys. Oh my God.
What about? Okay, so we're going best brewery in the United States. What about Founders?
Founders is amazing.
Founders has so many good beers.
Bell's.
What about Bell's? Yes, Bell's is outrageous. Dogfish Head.
Yeah, and then even here close to home, Lone Pint.
Lone Pint.
Those guys have got it going on.
Like everything they put out is just amazingly delicious. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know how to pare that down. There's a lot of breweries I like. There's a lot of breweries out there that I'll just try anything they make because the brewery's so good in general.
100%. And Lone Pint is that way. I will try anything that they put out.
Yep.
I absolutely will. And you know what, Ian? It's July, which means we're only days away from the release of St. Arnold Oktoberfest.
I'm super excited about that.
Because October
I do
begins
get that.
in July.
That's right. I do get that, but I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm excited about it too. That's one of my favorite.
I think I'm going to just
yes. Yeah. What are you saying, Terry?
Email.
Oh, email. Oh, okay. Are you emailing me the story?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So, this is how it works sometimes, on
That's what you call
post-hurricane
teamwork.
Post-hurricane stuff.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep. All right. So it'll take my email a minute to load. There it is.
Now, the internet service has been quite spotty this week,
again,
all over the place.
Again, the link doesn't load from your email because it's the same
wow.
link that I had. So, all right. So we'll have to. Can you get it to load on yours there?
Yeah, it loaded on mine.
So just go through the article until you get to who it says is the best brewery in the U.S.
Oh, well, it just starts out with that. It just basically says Third Eye Brewing of Hamilton, Ohio. Took home the U.S. Open Beer Championship Ultimate Award, was named the 2024 Grand National Champion. The competition announced Monday night, July 8th. So it's the highest point score this year and 2024's best brewery, according to the competition.
All right. Third Eye Brewing.
Yeah.
Out of Ohio.
Yeah.
Looking for their...
Ohio's got nothing
was
better
founded
to
in
do than badass beer,
2009.
apparently.
Yeah. Their website loads okay. They say on the Third Eye Brewing website, we believe in helping everyone open their mind's eye to a world of new possibilities, one pint at a time. That's a good slogan.
That's
I like that. They have tap rooms in Sharonville and Hamilton, and checking out their beers just to see what they've got. Their flagships are... Looks like what you would expect. They've got an IPA and a Pilsner, and then they have a specialty series, which looks very interesting. And then they have classics. So it does look very good. I would visit their website. And if you're in the Ohio area,
They got quite a few stouts going on.
go
too.
check these boys out. Yeah, they've got 4 different stouts. They've got big IPAs. They've got seasonals, and looks like quite a decent amount of beers, of different kinds of beers.
What was it called again? Third Eye?
Third Eye Brewing.
Third Eye
Company.
Brewing.
And they are based
They
in
said they were up
Ohio.
against quite a few thousand beers and things
You know,
in there.
I don't know how you determine like the best. Like even when we're talking about our Houston favorites, it's hard for us to really narrow down.
It seems like they have different categories, and in each category they have several ribbons. And they took home like gold in some and silver in some, but they won 5 or 6 categories
Overall.
here and 4 or 5 here.
Yeah.
And then it
Out of
culminated
thousands of
into
beers.
out of like 9,000 beers.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the Olympics. It's like, which country wins the most medals,
Yeah.
is always a thing that people are keeping track of. Well, these guys do look really good. And if nothing else, they've had great photographers taking photos for their website. Because I'm salivating looking at this little beer sampler that they have going on here. I love beer samplers, by the way. Every brewery should do them if they don't, like flights and samplers.
Yeah, well, the 12-pack, that's the 3 of 4 different kinds or 4 of 3 different kinds.
I just picked up the Mind Haze 12-pack of IPAs from Firestone Walker. Oh, they're so
I was
good.
about to say, I
They're
wish they'd do more that aren't IPAs.
Well, yeah, I agree. I wish they do more that combine a lot of different styles. Like, give me 1 stout, 1 Pilsner, 1 IPA, 1 sour. That I would totally buy that 12-pack. All right, we got to take a break, and we will return. Still a lot more to talk about and taste on today's hurricane-battered edition of Smokin' and Toastin'. We'll be right back. That little musical intro never sounded so good. That was awesome.
Until you hear that awesome guitar tone.
Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. While Ian is pouring the Carnival Time sour ale with king cake, and I can't wait to get to this because I've been my imagination's been running wild as to what this will be like. Tell you about a few cigars to watch for. I mentioned my cigar that I reviewed this week was a Guardian of the Farm with the tobaccos from Aganorsa Leaf, and Aganorsa is releasing a new cigar. It is called the Aganorsa Leaf Arsenio. It's a line of cigars created in tribute to No, not the former late-night talk show host, although you're totally allowed to go whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, it shows how old we are that we even know what that is. The cigars are to celebrate Arsenio Ramos, who served as Aganorsa Leaf's master blender for 18 years until he passed away in 2018. And these cigars have just shipped to retailers. The line was originally scheduled for release in the spring, but it got delayed. He said the Vice President of Aganorsa, Terry Riley, said, "We felt we needed to give them more time to rest before packing." It's so cool that a cigar company will actually do that.
Yeah.
Because they've got these cigars sitting there. They can't make any money from them until they go out and hit the shops. And yet they'll make a decision, you know what, these are going to be better if we let them rest for several
We'll
months.
sell
more.
no cigars before it's time.
I believe it.
Aganorsa Leaf, man. What's that? Was it the Family Reserve they just put out recently? That
Yeah.
Was, so good.
Yeah. And these guys have a tendency to use all tobaccos from their own farms. That's the case with the Arsenio. It's all Nicaraguan tobacco grown on Aganorsa's farm. The wrapper is grown in Jalapa from Corojo 99 seed. The two binder leaves are Criollo 98 from Esteli, and the fillers are a mix of tobaccos from Jalapa and Condega. According to the company, the cigars are medium in body. 3 sizes, Robusto, Toro, and a 6x44 Corona, but it's limited to 2,000 boxes each of the Toro and the Robusto, and 1,500 boxes of the Corona. So grab them if you want. And to celebrate their 5th anniversary as a company, Viva la Vida Cigars is releasing a 5th anniversary special cigar. Our Artisano del Tobacco worked with... I don't know if you guys have heard of this blender. His name is AJ Fernandez. He makes the company
I don't
cigar,
know that name.
and they did this special modified version of the Viva La Vida. The internal blend is the same. Nicaraguan tobacco is aged for at least 3 years, but it's using a Habano Oscuro wrapper that's found on the regular. The regular Viva La Vida uses a Habano Oscuro. This special one has been replaced by a Habano seed wrapper grown in Connecticut. So it should be interesting to try. So if you're a fan of AJ, as I am, I will try anything that he has put his blending skills to work on.
Right.
So I will
Totally worth your while.
definitely be trying that. Speaking of trying interesting things, Carnival Time is a sour ale with king cake.
Ooh.
It smells like king cake.
What a nose.
And I've been waiting because
Wow.
I saw this on the can, and I've been waiting to say this. It's a collaboration between Urban South Brewery and a bakery, and the name of the bakery is Dong Fong. I'm not kidding you.
Yep.
It's in collaboration with the Dong Fong Bakery.
Dong Fong.
No more Yankee My Wanky.
'Cause-
The Donger need food. I gave Terry another movie reference
Pretty in
there.
pink.
Yeah.
Was that 16
Or
candles?
16
16
candles.
candles.
16
Uh-huh.
candles. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, 16.
Wow, it does smell like king cake. That's
You know
the
what's
first
funny
time.
is
like
most
king
sour
cake.
ales you can smell the sour. Like
Right.
you can,
Yeah, you can
kinda
tell
get-
it
I
on
don't. I don't get this. I don't get that except for maybe the very slightest.
And when you think of king cakes, you think of the Dong Fong factory, definitely.
Yeah.
Like 100%. That's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah. So I don't hear the rattling of a plastic baby doll.
I don't seem to
inside
have
the
one
can.
in mind.
Anybody have one? No.
Traditionally, it was supposed to be porcelain. Apparently, it was there to represent the baby Jesus.
To totally break your tooth.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only can you choke on it, you can also break all of your teeth. Wow, this is surprisingly good.
It really
I
is.
really didn't know what to expect of
And
this.
so
but-
it's interesting because it's a lot more tart than I was expecting it to be. Even though I know it's a sour ale, it's a lot more tart. But the king cake comes through all day long.
yeah, you've got the sweetness of the king cake kind of balancing out. And me personally, I don't really care that much for king cake. I find it too sweet. Like I'd rather have like a good chocolate cake or a yellow cake with cream cheese icing or something. But this is this
all
is
about
quite good.
I definitely taste the purple and green sugar that they put on
Yes,
top of the king
totally.
cake. I definitely taste that in here on the
Totally.
icing.
Well, these guys at Urban South, I really like what they do.
It's pretty outrageous, right?
They make an IPA, a hazy IPA called HTX. We've had it on the show before. That is actually one of my go-to favorite IPAs.
Is this easy to get?
Love it. This I'm not so sure. Although I will say my wife brought this home from Kroger,
Okay.
so you may be able to find it there. So fascinating.
Carnival time. I love that. Yeah,
I can't stop tasting this. It's just so
really good.
unusually
It
good.
really is. I didn't know to expect it to be that good, actually. It's really good.
Yeah, I thought it would be novel.
Yes.
But I didn't know if it would
All
be.
the indulgence of a Dong Phuong cinnamon and cream cheese king cake served in a sour ale.
Cinnamon. Yeah, you do get a little bit of cinnamon in there. I didn't realize it until you said it, but
Wow, that's really good.
I will actually take a little more of that.
Yes, sir.
There you
Fortunately,
go.
it's a
Look at
60
that.
note. I did not think I'd be asking for extras
more of that.
of the king cake sour ale. I really didn't. But
That'd be good. You might drink half a cup and move on. But
Yeah, and thankfully, as we went through this, none of us seemed to have found the plastic paper.
Well, now Cruz is out of the thing. Great, I can finally make the show go the way I want it to.
This was Ian's
Wait, what
plan.
happened?
Ian's plan all along.
Oh, you were joking. So was I.
No, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, thankfully, no plastic baby found inside the.
The more I drink it, the more I like it too.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it to begin with, but it kind of grows on you and then keeps
No,
going.
And I still go back to this whole thing with the king cake. How has this been allowed to continue? I mean, there's foods we can't eat because they've got some substance in them that might cause cancer if you consumed 7,000 tons of it over your lifetime, and that gets taken off the market.
Are you suggesting a little
king
plastic?
cake has a plastic baby
Are you
in it that you
suggesting
could
that
choke
plastic
on.
Jesus will cause cancer?
But you have to think that they always put on toys warnings. You don't eat it if you're under this age. And then at the king cake time of year, they serve it in schools to elementary kids.
Absolutely. And every year there's that list of the dangerous toys that comes out at Christmas time. And
Best band ever. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was a great band. But most of the toys on the dangerous toys list is because of there's a choking hazard.
Yeah,
I can't believe lawn jarts made that list.
Come on, lawn darts are awesome.
I saw the new ones the other day. Lawn Dart. They were advertising some new ones. Oh yeah, come on, people. That was just wusses. There's no thing that can stab you on the other side of the house.
Is it at least big and heavy and it could bludgeon you?
It was like a bean bag on the end of a stick.
Well, this is a good beer. No fake, no plastic, fake plastic Jesus. Although that is my favorite Radiohead song. We're going to take a break and return shortly with more tasting. Drinking news is right around the corner. Thank you for joining us for this program. This is show number 388 of Smokin' and Toastin'. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hour 2 of Smokin' and Toastin' number 388. I cannot believe how much I'm still enjoying this king cake sour ale.
It's particularly good.
It's amazing.
It's just way better than I was expecting.
Wow.
Way better. While Ian is pouring our rum from, what is it, Smugglers? What is it?
Smuggler's Reserve rum from
Reserve, thank you.
Barbados.
Yeah, excited about this.
Aged in American white oak casks.
I'll share a list with you. Cigar Aficionado released a list of great cigars, 16 highly rated cigars under $8. And $8 now seems to be the breaking point in cigar. It used to be $6. But now it seems that $8 is kind of that breaking
Yeah, I
point,
remember a few years back on this show, we did an episode where we were like, okay, we got to figure out our favorite cigars, $6 and under. Mm-hmm. Now you can't.
Now it's $8.
Yeah.
Although there still are some good cigars under $6, but not nearly as many of them.
Especially if you shop deals. Like if you shop deals, you can get some pretty good bundles and stuff.
That's 100% true. I've gotten some great cigars for around $5 when I've just shopped the deals, but you just have to.
But that's when you're buying a lot at once. When you're buying a box.
You're buying at least a box. Yeah, a box or a bundle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I give you one of those? Did I give you one of those Man of Wars.
You did, and I reviewed it on the show. And
That's right. Yeah, that was
loved it.
$5.70 or something.
Beautiful. That was a beautiful cigar.
Yeah.
Well, here's a few from Cigar Aficionado. Under $8. Here's one that scored a 93, and it's $6.15 suggested retail price. It's the Grand Habano, Habano number 3, lunch break. So it's a small cigar. That's part of the reason why it comes in under the $8. But still. Now, here's one I'll vouch for. The Aladino Petite Corona.
Oh, yeah.
At 92 points, $5.90. That's a very good cigar. The EP Carrillo New Wave Connecticut
Yes.
Brillantes. 92 points, $7.30. EP Carrillo, it's hard to go wrong. I will admit I have a tendency not to buy as many Connecticut wrapper cigars, but this one looks like it is absolutely brilliant. They give good tasting notes on it.
Connecticut wrapper doesn't always mean lighter either.
Right, that's true.
Like that cigar that you reviewed earlier today. That lighter colored wrapper just doesn't always mean that. And, it's kind of a little misnomer.
They also list the Fonseca by My Father Petite Corona. It's a small cigar, but it comes in at $7.50. It scored a 92. And I will say, I used to smoke Fonseca cigars. Since that brand was bought by my father, they've become more expensive. So I haven't smoked as many of them. If I'm going to spend that much on a cigar, I have a tendency to just go for a My Father.
Go for the My Father, yeah, because they're great.
But in this case, $7.50, and it scored a 92, and it looks absolutely wonderful. The Sancho Panza Double Maduro Robusto, scoring 92 points, is $7.49. And in 2022, Scandinavian Tobacco Group, which owns Sancho Panza, acquired Room 101 cigars, but they retained Matt Booth as the creative founder, the creative director of the brands. And this cigar was one of his first creations as the creative director of Scandinavian Tobacco Company. The Oliva Serie G Maduro Special G. This is the one that's kind of looks shaped like a little bomb. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of fat and then tapers at the foot, and then it's skinnier at the head. It's a great looking cigar and a great tasting cigar. I love it. The King is Dead Manzanita from Caldwell. Took them 5 years to blend this. It scores a 91, comes in at $7.50. The Arturo Fuentes Selección Privada number 1. I have trouble telling some of these Arturo Fuentes cigars apart, to be honest with you.
I don't remember. The problem is they all look so similar that I can't remember if I've had that or not.
Exactly, and I'm in the same place. It scored 90. It's a $7.50.
I will say, though, it's a Fuente, and I don't know that I've ever had a Fuente that went, man, I don't like this cigar.
Agreed. The Cane Daytona number 4, a little cigar, but with an Ecuadorian wrapper and a Nicaraguan blend, they say, becomes a very assertive smoke loaded with coffee and leather. The Charter Oak CT Shade Rothschild. Now, Rothschild's a small cigar. I mean, and most of these on this list are smaller cigars, which I guess is how they find this much quality under that $8 marker. But this one scored 90, and it's $6.10. Now, here is a Corona, the Flores y Rodriguez 18th anniversary Millefleurs Corona. I'm sure I didn't say that right. It scored a 90. It's $5.71.
Nice.
So Abe Flores, the owner of PDR Cigars, made this cigar to mark his company's 18th birthday with a commemorative release. The La Flor Dominicana Ligero Oscuro Cabinet L200. This baby will knock your socks off. It's so strong.
It's big.
And it's 90 points and $7.60. Speaking of strong, the La Gloria Cubana Serie S Robusto Gordo, $7.99. It scores 90 points.
I don't think I've had that one. I'll have to pick that up.
And the Oliva Serie G Maduro Churchill at 90 points. Just Oliva, honestly, you cannot go wrong with any of their cigars. Right. You really can't. The Punch Dragonfire scored 90 points. It's a $6.99 cigar. It is a short Robusto. The Punch Knucklebuster Shade Robusto rounds this out. And the Knucklebuster came out in 2020, and it was supposedly marketed as a hardworking blend for hardworking people. But at $5.39, it makes the list as well. Nice. Now, I could go through this list of cigars that will set you back $100 or more, but I think we'll just leave that be for a while
Right.
and taste some.
How about cigars you can actually afford?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like lists like this. And I will just say, the Guardian of the Farm Campeon coming in at like $8 to $9. That was why I gave that a 6. It was really good, and it outperformed its price.
I was a little bit in panic yesterday because my humidor got to the point where every time I grabbed a cigar, it was like a $20 cigar.
Oh yeah, and you're like, oh, am I ready for this?
And it's not like it's full of those, but I mean, I just didn't have any daily smokers left. So luckily, CDOT here in Houston was open, and I went and picked up a few like random daily smokers. But
when you go for random daily smokers, what do you usually get?
well, so I almost always, now they've been out of them recently, but I almost always keep a bundle of factory smokes, the Maduros. In the Robusto size. The bigger sizes I don't really like as much, but the Robusto size works really well. I also I keep a handful of slightly more expensive, but if I can get those Man of Wars or things like that, I'll get those Undercrowns.
Wow.
Those are also great go-tos and affordable. So yeah, I'll go for, and I vary stuff too. I'm not always like I have to have this one thing. I like,
agree.
I like different flavors.
I agree.
Just like my beers, I don't pick up the same 6-pack of beer every time either.
Right. Yeah, you like to change it up. It keeps things
I
interesting.
mean, except for Dirty Bastard by Founders.
You'll pick that up anytime you can get
I
it,
will
right?
pretty much, if that's on the shelf, I'll probably pick that up and something else.
What are your thoughts on the nose on this rum?
Well, the nose on this rum is quite fine.
It
It's
hits me
a
almost
little brown sugary.
It hits me almost like a on the nose, like a rum whiskey hybrid, which we've had.
There's a little bit of a funk to it as well on the nose. On the flavor, I like the whiskey reference. Is funny you say that because on the palate, it's got a lot of that oaky finish that you get from the whiskey, and it's sweet.
It does have a sweet. Of course, rum has a tendency to have a sweetness, but the sweetness really balances that oakiness very nicely. I am picking up maple and some vanilla, which I really like in a rum. It has a little heat on the finish, which
Oh yeah, it does.
you don't always get with a rum. Sometimes it's deceptively mild in terms of the heat.
That raw cane sugar flavor is there too.
And the
It
cinnamon
lends it
red hot
an
heat.
odd youngness to the flavor, but not in a bad way, if that makes any sense. Rum is being produced in Barbados for over 350 years. During these centuries, rum has become a fundamental part of the identity of the island. The rum in this bottle is a blend of pot and column distilled rums aged in oak casks up to 8 years. The rum has subtle notes of vanilla, coconut, toffee, toasted marshmallows, followed by a long round finish.
Yeah, toffee. And the oak cask is certainly where we're getting some of that whiskey oak astringency from, I think. I think this is quite good. And this is not, I believe it's about a $40 bottle, so it's not
Not a terribly expensive one, yeah.
prohibitively expensive, but it's really good. I like it.
Has interesting other stuff. I'm not going to read all of this, but interesting other stuff on the bottle. The label on here is made to look like an old newspaper from the Prohibition era. Mm-hmm. So like from the early 20s or pre-20s, late teens. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's even a wanted sign on there.
it's fun to like sit and read the bottle while you were kind of sitting back.
It says the Friday edition. It's kind of this is fun. The packaging, everything on here is really, really good. I like Barbados anyway. As far as the rums go, I like there's a little bit of funk to them. There's a little bit of traditional rum to them, and I really enjoy that. You know me though. The weirder a rum gets, the more I generally like it. Like the Jamaican rums and stuff are
funkier
fun.
it gets,
They can be funky, and I really enjoy them.
Reminds me a little bit of some of the rums that Docs from Plantery Rum has brought on the show.
And this doesn't
formerly
have any
Plantation.
notes of Band-Aid or Tire Fire in it.
Which sounds disgusting, but is actually
It's
not
actually
bad.
quite good.
I know it really is, and I don't quite understand how that could be, but it does seem it's a rum thing.
I have a Jamaican rum at the house that smells like a tire fire, and it's wonderful. It smells so good.
Your
So
wife is
weird.
a rum fan, right?
She likes rum. She likes it. She loves rye whiskey.
Yeah.
For my birthday a couple months ago, a friend of mine got me a bottle of Whistle Pig, and it's almost gone. I've had one sip out of it.
Happy birthday.
My wife loves if there was Whistle Pig in the house, it goes away quick.
Well, my wife is a rum fan for sure. In fact, rum is probably her favorite spirit, and we, as I think I've mentioned on the show before, we regularly keep in stock both the Plantation Isle of Fiji and the Plantation Stiggins Fancy Pineapple. Those are kind of like mainstays, but we enjoy checking out something like this from time to time too. And I kind of encourage you to do this. I think it's affordable, and it's just absolutely. I love that they aged it in the American white oak casks. I think that's what gives it the particular thing on the palate that I'm enjoying so much.
It gives it a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Familiar kind of flavor and mouthfeel to a whiskey drinker. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a good rum for someone who is more of a whiskey person, but is interested
Wants an
in branching
interesting
into
rum that
rums.
drinks a
I
little
think
more like
you were
whiskey.
right.
Yeah.
And the only drawback that I think I can think of about this rum is just that the name Smuggler's Reserve makes my lizard brain immediately start playing Smuggler's Blues
I
by
had that
Glenn
same
Fry
thing
playing over and
happen.
over in my head, and that's I do like me some Glenn Fry, but I don't really like that
It's the
song all
nature
that
of the
much.
business.
Now I
is
have
the-
that. I did not have that in
Smuggler's
my
Blues.
head. I was just thinking of Han Solo. He's a smuggler, but
Politics of contraband. It's the
politics of
Smuggler's
contraband.
now
Blues.
it's in my head all
Yeah,
day.
you're welcome, Terry. We're going to take a break, and we will return. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars,
This delicious rum.
and the politics of contraband. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
Love those
And
things.
other than the Smuggler's Blues reference, I do have a question about this Smuggler's Reserve rum that we just tried in the last segment, and that is, why didn't we try it in the first segment? Because we could have been drinking it for the whole show. This rum is really good.
Note
really
to
is.
self: try whiskey first.
Yeah, this is
Try whiskey.
not a bad idea. So one of the cool things,
You know what? I think at some point in time we talked about that when we were sober and decided it was a bad idea. But I don't see why. I have no idea what we could have come up with for a bad idea on that.
for why not to sample in the first segment.
Why not to start the whiskey first?
Yeah. I can't come up
I don't
with
see where our heads
I
are
have
at.
I have no rebuttal. I yield my time, Mr. Chairman. So one of the things that's cool about preparing for this show, because I always go online and look for different articles and things that might be interesting for us to talk about. And one of the things that's been cool is I've discovered some websites that I did not know existed. I did not know VinePair, for example, before I started.
That's a cool website.
Researching. It's a cool one. I knew of liquor.com, but I'd never spent any real time there. It's a great site. It's awesome. And before, I knew of Cigar Aficionado's website before the show, but before the show, I hadn't really discovered Half Wheel, which is one of the greatest cigar websites. They're all over it, man. Everything that comes out, they do great reviews. They test all kinds of things. They give product news. It's all good. And then I've also discovered a cache of other websites that are just like guy related. Like they'll have articles on whiskey or whatever. And one of the ones I discovered recently is one called The Manual, with the emphasis on man. So it's
The
like
Manual.
a man website, right? And one of the articles that I stumbled across
That's
here.
toxic masculinity,
That's
sir.
exactly what it is. By the way, I ordered some cigars from a website called Cigar Page, and they came in this great little box, and I'm cutting it open, and I open it up, and on the underside of the lid to the box, it says, toxic masculinity in a box. I'm like, I love this. I absolutely love this. So
That's awesome.
that totally worked. But this site, The Manual, had an interesting article that I wanted to share with you. And the title of the article is The Best Cigars for a Wedding, chosen by a cigar expert. Now, I found this to be incredibly random, but not necessarily off base. So I want to read you these recommendations from the cigar expert who was asked to recommend cigars for a wedding. Here's what he said. Said, get the Arturo Fuente Opus X The Lost City in a double Robusto size for your best man.
Okay, solid.
And that makes sense. That's an expensive cigar. It's a very, very good cigar. But it also shows your best man you did not spare expense when getting your cigar for him. You paid for the expensive one, and it's not one of those ridiculous $100 ones, but it's pretty pricey, right? Then they say for your groomsmen, get them the Oliva Serie V in a Toro size.
That's a good cigar.
That's what they say. Get the Romeo and Julieta Reserva Real in a Robusto size for the rest of your wedding party.
That's a great everybody cigar.
Mm-hmm. Then they say get the Cohiba Robusto or a Hoya de Monterrey in the Cello Rothschild size for your family. So you see you're going down a little bit in price, although the Cohiba may be a little pricey. And then get some Nub Connecticut 358 by Oliva in the Rothschild size or Oliva Connecticut Reserve in the Petite Corona size for your guests. I thought this was very interesting, but I have no idea what he based it on
That's
other
pretty
than
solid.
how much to spend. But I thought, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And, you know, for the best man, by the way, there are a few other suggestions if you don't get the Lost City. The Aganorsa Rare Leaf Reserve Corojo in the Toro size. The Davidoff
That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Anniversario number 3 in the Toro size. Yep. The EP Carrillo Allegiance, the Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Edición Diamante, and the Padron 1964 Anniversary Maduro.
But this guy just started naming great cigars. He's like any of these.
Yeah, I kind of get it. Anyway, if you want to check out the article yourself, it's at themanual.com and just search for cigars and wedding, and you will find it. I think this rum would work nicely for a wedding. So I remember going to your wedding. Best beer at a wedding I've ever had.
I had cigars out, too.
Yeah, I know. I smoked them. All of them. We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasted. So nice. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. This is the Hurricane Battered 388th edition of Smoking and Toasting.
It's sweaty.
So normally, as I said earlier in the show, we record the show on Mondays. But this week, of course, we were being hit by a hurricane on Monday here in Houston, Texas. So we didn't get to record this until Friday, which means today being Friday as we record, you guys will hear this on Saturday. But we will turn around Saturday, Sunday, and Monday we will record again, which leads me to wonder, will I still be sporting a buzz from today's show when we start recording on Monday? And taking a look at this Imperial Stout that's coming up, I wonder if that might actually wind up being the case. But before we get into a little stout tasting, it's time for the moment that literally none of you have been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Drinking News.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. Well, in today's Drinking News, we delve into the world of psychology in an attempt to answer one of life's great elusive questions. No, it's not, what in the hell happened to Kanye? It's not, why does it seem that I'm never more than 20 yards from some a-hole with a leaf blower? It's not even, why does anyone, let alone millions of people, seem to give a rat's ass about what the Kardashians do?
That's amazing.
Why are the Kardashians famous again?
I can't tell you.
Well, you remember the talent that they exhibited at one point in time to make them famous?
No.
Yeah,
Neither do
exactly.
I.
That's yeah.
I know their
right.
dad was in the OJ trial. That's about the only
That's
thing.
what made them. That's
Yeah.
what made them initially start out, and then Kim had a tape,
had that, I think that was it.
and then that was it. That
Was
was
Kanye
legit.
involved in that tape?
No, it was Ray J. She
it was Ray
upgraded
J.
to Kanye, and now has gone through
Okay.
everyone.
All right, I got you. So it's not what the hell happened to Kanye or Ray J. But in today's Drinking News story, we will try to examine the question, why do people do stupid things.
I'm sorry. I'm a little lost at the beginning of this now.
I don't know, but I like the Kardashian reference into
people-
stupid things.
From our earliest days, mankind has learned many important things.
Like, hold my beer.
Touch fire and it burns you. Poking a bear, almost always a really bad idea. And,
I like the almost in there. Go ahead.
and getting into an elevator with an Amway salesman, quite possibly a fate worse than death. So why do people do stupid things? According to behavioral scientists, the most common answer is stress. Brain researchers call it cortical inhibition, a state that keeps your brain from synchronizing properly when you're under great stress. And while all of that may be true, I suspect that a more plausible explanation is that some people are just, how can I say this politely? Really effing stupid. Take today's drinking news story, for example.
Some people lack the normal synapse.
Yeah. Take today's drinking news story, for example. It's the tale of a Michigan man,
Michigan man.
a guy named Corey Harris. Corey was on trial about a month ago in Ann Arbor in a case that involved him driving with a suspended license. District Judge J. Cedric Simpson, no relation to Homer, who was hearing the case, allowed the Michigan man to appear over Zoom for the proceedings. And in fact, no sooner had the assistant public defender announced that Harris would be using the technology than the Michigan man appeared on the screen in the courtroom. Judge Simpson,
Where he's going with this?
Judge Simpson, ever the observant magistrate, happened to notice that Harris, visible in the live video, had something stretched across his waist and his torso.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yep.
What? I don't know
It
where.
was a seatbelt.
Oh, yes, that's it. Yep.
Plus, it was clearly evident from the movement outside the window.
Wait a second. He was in the car
Yep. It
on
was,
a Zoom call?
it was clearly evident from the movement outside the window behind the Michigan man that he was, in fact, in a moving vehicle.
Did you actually see the vehicle? I mean, see the video?
The judge, well, you can see it online. The judge then asked the obvious question, "Sir, are you behind the wheel?"
Well, I love that he asked that question because he gives you the opportunity to say no. which is
No.
Such an obvious lie.
I saw this video, and the man was shocked that the judge asked this question. He did not at all see anything wrong with what he was doing at all.
He obviously doesn't know how Zoom works. He
had
couldn't give himself
no-
bunny ears
Yeah,
and
right.
changed his whole background.
Exactly.
He was shocked that this was a problem.
By the way, this rum is delicious. So the judge asked him, "Sir, are you behind the wheel?" And actually, Harris told the judge, "I'm pulling into my doctor's
Yes,
office,
yes.
so just give me 1 second. I'm
Yes.
parking right now."
That's exactly. Give me 1 second.
So as Judge Simpson took a moment to process what was going on, the Zoom cameras pivoted toward the man's legal team, the public defenders, who looked disappointed and just as bewildered as the judge.
Did one of them have the head slap emoji?
Others sitting in the back of the courtroom were seen trying their best, and mostly without success, to hide their laughter.
Wow.
Eventually, the astonished judge threw his pen on the table, put one hand on his face, there you go, and asked Harris if he was stationary. And he was not. As soon as the Michigan man finished parking, his legal team jumped into action and immediately requested an adjournment of the case for 4 weeks. Judge Simpson was not having it. In his most judicial tone, Simpson said, "Okay, so maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended case. And he was just driving, and he doesn't have a license." The assistant public defender then sheepishly confirmed what the judge had said. And then Simpson reviewed Harris's paperwork and briefly mulled over what was likely the easiest decision he would make that day. Harris seemed stunned when the judge ordered his bond revoked and commanded that the Michigan man turn himself in to the Washtenaw County Jail by 6 p.m. that evening. Not to imply that the scientists are wrong here, but I feel like this is a good example of a time where stress had absolutely nothing to do with it.
He didn't seem stressed at all.
In the video, Harris seems quite calm, as if everything he's doing is totally rational and normal, right up until the judge orders him to report to jail. He does get a little stressed then because, of course, he does. Now, not to call names here, but I think it's pretty clear in this example that this Michigan man did a stupid thing because he is stupid.
Yes.
How stupid do you have to be?
He
That's
was shocked.
So I'm amazed by that, though. How can you live a daily life and still be that stupid?
He was shocked. He was
How
just
can you
basically
feed yourself and still be that stupid?
the look of shock on his face when the judge started going ahead and ruling, and he just. And he just
deflated
he couldn't
like a
even
big balloon.
he could not believe this did not at all dawn on this man. You could tell this had not crossed his mind
This is a man
before he
whose
did
ass
that.
can easily get whooped in chess. Okay,
Yeah.
Does not think more than one step ahead. That's for sure.
He could have waited one more minute and called them and parked first, but no.
I don't really think there's much explanation that is needed in this case. To quote the great fictional genius named Forrest Gump, stupid is as stupid does. Perhaps Mr. Harris will learn a thing or two during his incarceration. Thinking of this has once again been something that I personally find quite inspiring. And as regular listeners to this segment of the show know, and have come to dread the way I dread a colonoscopy, when inspiration strikes me, I have a tendency to express it in the form of poetry or prose. And so without any inclination for the discomfort that this may create for you or the embarrassment it may create for me, I'd like to share my inspired writing with you now in the form of a poetry recitation. If I could get a little poetry reading music. And it goes a little something like this. On trial with his license suspended, he drove his car while on Zoom he attended. The judge revoked his bail and remanded him to jail, where he's likely to wind up rear-ended. Kind of brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
Yeah, that really meant something to me, man.
Reporting live from Ann Arbor, where Harris just said to me, "Please excuse my naivete. I was born at a very young age. My name is Cruz, and that is your..."
Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all.
How you gonna show up to your court meeting on a Zoom call?
And you're driving.
A court meeting for driving with your license is still suspended, dude.
Yes.
The way that he told the judge, I love the way, too. He was just like, hang on a second, I'm parking right now. Like, he had no word. Like, I'm parking. He just literally was making it worse.
Which is my whole point. That's not stress.
No.
That's stupid.
No.
That's
yeah,
just
it's not.
stupid.
Hang on
Sir,
a second,
are you driving
Judge.
a stolen car? Hang on a second while I park this stolen car. Like, what the?
Yeah. It's It's like, can you imagine, like, if you were on trial for burglary and you come in with a Zoom, like a handheld Zoom, but you're like robbing somebody's house at the time? That's kind of what that's like.
That's right. That's exactly
Kind of what that's like. So our final beer for the show today is from Magnify Brewing. They are out of Fairfield, New Jersey. This is their 9th anniversary gold label Born Day, and they describe it as a birthday cake stout. So continuing with the cake theme on our beers, Ian, have you had a chance to do some sampling?
No, I'm so preoccupied with this delicious rum
I know.
that I haven't messed with the beer. I do like that there's chunkies in the beer.
I'm going to tell you, though, before we even get to the
There's
beer.
chunkies in there.
You are right. I think it's chunkies of cake.
Ah.
I think it's birthday cake.
real pieces of cake.
It smells really good.
So I will just say, before we
it smells like cereal.
Before we even get to the beer, I have a feeling this is going to form, as you like to say, like Voltron with this rum. I have a feeling it's going to be a big thing.
If you like breakfast cereal and birthday cake, like if you put some sprinkles in this would be amazing.
They are totally right about this.
It's already
being
amazing,
birthday
actually.
cake.
I mean, but just be
Totally right about it being birthday cake. I totally get the sweetness of the frosting, the darkness of the chocolate.
And I like the weird floaties.
And you get
Am
a
I the
little
only
bit
one
of-
that got floaties?
No, I got a couple in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Unless that's a bubble. But I
Let's
think it's a
just
floaty.
more in there. So this is dark chocolatey, like
Okay.
devilishly dark chocolate. Are you going in for the
now for the
rum?
big test. Going back to the rum.
It is devilishly dark chocolatey. It is Sticky.
Oh my goodness.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Go back to the rum.
I'm going there.
Yeah, that's really something.
The rum becomes Hershey's chocolate syrup.
Oh. Oh.
And there's nothing I like more than taking
With a white oak finish.
some Bluebell vanilla ice cream, putting it in the microwave for about 4 seconds to soften it. Then I whip it with a spoon until it's like soft serve, and then pour chocolate syrup over
Ice cream soup.
It's one of the greatest experiences, and this reminds me of that. There's a little bit of that vanilla and chocolate in the rum.
I see that you have a madness to your method, sir.
I do. Indeed, I do.
You know, you can't go wrong going either direction on the rum. And the,
No, you can't, because you go back. You go back to the stout, and it's more birthday cakey than it was before.
Unlike our very first beer, this does not have a whole lot of information. It does say, however, 9th anniversary birthday cake Imperial Stout brewed with cake batter.
So that's your chunkies, your cake batter.
That's crazy,
Little
right?
pieces of cake batter.
Aged in 7-year Willet bourbon barrels for 15 months. I like Willet too. There's nothing wrong with that. For 15 months and conditioned on double coconuts and almonds.
Wow.
Coming in at 13.5%. That's a party beer right there.
It's a party beer. For you. That's a floating down the river.
I would drink this floating down the river.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really good, and going back and forth with the rum actually makes it even better. And that's when you're happy. That's when you know your party has gone well. You know, it's kind of died down. The early people have already left. It's just you and a few really good friends sitting around at the end of the party. You're trying things, and you're going back and forth, and you're trying this stout, and you're trying this rum. And I'm trying to get myself invited to a party where you do that. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, wow, absolutely spectacular. Magnify Brewing Company is out of Fairfield, New Jersey. I think this is the first of their beers we've had on the show.
I've never heard the name before.
Well, I have a feeling you may be hearing it more in the future.
That's pretty
This is
outrageous.
Smoking and Toasting. We are going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap things up. Thank you for hanging with us for show number 388. You have a lot of floaties in your...
I did. I think mine was the first pour.
Oh, good stuff. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And just like to mention, we did something that we probably should not do, and that is that after, we've been obviously sampling all the fine wares from today's show, we took a kind of a long break between last segment and this final segment, and I have no idea what we were talking about because of the
3
rum
hours later.
Yeah, exactly. So, hi, welcome to Smoking and Toasting. We got great beers. We got rum. Honestly, I know we were talking about this rum because it has really kind of outperformed its price, I think.
If you're critical about how we like so much of the stuff on this show, I want to point out that we generally buy the stuff that we bring on the show.
So why would we buy stuff that we
generally don't buy stuff that we think is going to be bad?
Although, flying in the face of what you just said is the theme for next week's show.
I said generally.
Okay.
Whose idea was that show?
Do you want to tell people what we're doing next week?
Next week, my friend, will be every flavor of Buzzballs.
Every flavor
How many
of
flavors
Buzzballs.
is there?
I have no idea, but there's a lot.
Wow.
And then there's a difference, I think, like here in Texas at least, because you can't buy liquor in a convenience store. So there's a different... the ones that you can buy in the convenience store are all wine-based, and then you can go to the liquor store and get ones that are actual liquor-based.
Oh, it's like the Fireball thing, where you can get real Fireball in the liquor
Or that
store, but
fake
that fake
Fireball,
Fireball
yeah.
in the convenience
Right.
store. Yeah. Welcome to Texas. Gotta love that.
So I'm going to go
the
go
liquor
shopping
store?
this weekend and pick
Okay.
up every flavor of Buzzballs.
Are you doing
that I
them
can
from the
pick up.
liquor store, though, or are you doing them
I'm
from the
going to go to the
convenience
liquor store first,
Okay.
and then I'll start trolling a little bit of the convenience stores.
We can
if I
see
can
what
find-
tastes different, if it tastes different.
Well, I don't know if they'll have the same flavors because as far as I understand, Buzzballs is supposed to pair like this style of drink has this style of liquor. So I think that they'll just have random cocktail-y flavors with the wine-based stuff. But
The last time I trusted you for a show like this We wound up doing the malt
Listen,
liquor
man.
show.
Listen, let me explain
My
something.
least favorite episode of Smoking and Toasting ever.
Let me explain something. See, but here's the thing: you're still talking about it, so this is good content, right?
This is good.
This was a couple years ago. Matter of fact,
He's still
this was
burping it
4
up,
years
too.
ago.
I was going to say, yeah, I
Because
think
that
I'm
was
still
the
burping
beginning
it.
of COVID when we did that.
Yeah.
This was 4 years ago, and it's still content that you like to talk about.
Fresh.
But it doesn't have to be just you. Because I have a friend of mine, Joel Swift.
Oh,
He's been
from
on the show
Eureka
before,
Heights, yeah.
right, from Eureka Heights, and he has one of the best palates
I love
that
that
I know
description.
of.
Yeah.
So
So
he's
why do
here
we
to
always
help us.
bring him on when we're doing like buzz balls or bottom shelf liquor?
Don't let him know that that's the reason I bring him on.
It's a pretty cool idea, actually. A guy with a really
Amazing palate,
refined
right?
palate.
Bring him to try the well
it's like
drinks.
YouTube's reaction videos. You know, it's kind of like why do we watch them? I don't even know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will be fun.
It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a blast. So every flavor, every variety of buzzballs that you can find. you're
Yeah,
gonna
whatever I can find. It may not be everyone. If you guys have some in your own a place that I don't talk about, send them to me.
get. Oh yeah, Cindy and buzzballs, please.
Send me buzzballs. That'd be amazing.
Send me really good rums and tequilas. Cindy and buzzballs.
And Glenmorangie. And Glenmorangie, yes.
And,
Send
but
me.
you are gonna
Buzzballs,
bring like a whiskey, like to.
I'll
be a-
bring something delicious to sample as well.
Okay, good. At least I can look forward to that. I'm worried about the buzzball thing because, man, the hangover after the malt liquor show, it was not a pleasant thing.
Even
although
even
quite
the
frankly,
hangover had
it
even
was
the
secondary.
Even the hangover had notes of carpet mold and toe fungus.
But the
Used
hangover was
Band-Aid.
secondary to the
Used
burps. The burps were horrible. That's just like, oh my god.
like even worse than vodka Red Bull burps.
Oh, totally. I would totally take those over the.
Oh my gosh.
When we got to the Old English, I think that was when I tapped
Old
out.
English.
That was when I tapped out. I think.
I don't know if you remember this, but I have an oldie 800 40-ounce koozie that I used on that show.
A 40-ounce koozie?
Yes.
Have you
No.
used it since?
I bought it from the D&W Mart, just so you know.
That's funny. That
I
is
walked
really
up to
funny.
the counter one day. D&W Mart's one of these places in Houston that has like the best selection of beer ever. And I walked up to the counter and I looked at the guy behind the counter and said, "Is that an oldie 800 40-ounce koozie with a crown shape across the top?" And he goes, "Yes, it is." I said, "I think I have to have one."
I'll take it.
And I didn't even have any oldie at the time to go with it.
And you should be proud of
So
that.
is it a
fact, sir.
larger than usual koozie to fit
It's
into
for-
that? Is
if
that
it's
what
a
it is?
40
It fits
ounce.
that
It's
40?
a koozie for a 40.
Wow.
It's a koozie for a 40-ounce, yeah.
Nice.
Now,
For a 40.
in my brew club, CCSD, occasionally we have what we call 80s night. Mm-hmm. And that's where everyone brings 2 40 ounces. Because we truly believe you have to experience bad beer to really understand good beer.
It's an
Know
interesting.
your enemy, my friend.
It's
What, do you
an
have to
interesting-
experience 40 ounces of it?
Yeah, it's an interesting commitment.
I
that you
generally
have.
don't roll 80 deep by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Usually I'm 40 in and I'm done.
80?
About the only 40 I think I've ever polished off was a Little King's Cream Ale.
Oh,
Remember Little
that
Kings?
wasn't a 40, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, it was. They had 40s.
They had 40s? I didn't know that.
Yes, I used to get them in the Little King bottles, but they also had a 40 that I found.
Oh, I've only
and I
ever
actually
seen the Little
polished
Kings
that up.
bottles, the little
That was
wide
when I
mouth
was
one.
a very novice drinker, and I didn't know better.
Just
Didn't know
drinking
what
Ripple.
was what.
Yeah, which is kind of like saying I was in college, I needed the money. You know, it's similar to that as a
Back when
As
I
an
used to
expression.
drink Little Kings and Dollar Whoppers.
Dollar Whopper.
Man, where has that all gone? Now I go to Jack in the Box, and even the junior bacon cheeseburger is like $2.50 or whatever.
They got rid of dollar menus. They just don't have them anymore.
Oh yeah, remember when McDonald's
Yeah.
had the dollar menu? That was their way of
That was
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
kind of fighting that they
Yeah.
were perceived as having higher prices. Now they just don't care. For $1, you can get a little package with
Remember-
like 3
Well,
French
they've gone
fries.
to a
in it.
$5 meal. That's their
Remember
thing
when
now. You have to
McDonald's
do 5.
elevated their burgers? They had the fancier
The
burgers. that were-
McDLT.
were terrible.
The McDLT. What a terrible mess of a burger that was.
It keeps the hot
But, you
side
know,
hot
oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
the
yeah.
cold side cold, man.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. But you know who I think is worse than that is something like a James Coney Island, which for those of you who are not from the Houston area, James Coney Island famous for their hot dogs. That's their whole thing.
That's all they do.
Is their hot dogs.
I mean, they make other stuff, but hot dogs.
But apparently they weren't making enough money on the hot dogs, so they changed their name to JCI Grill.
Yep.
And now they're charging you the same amount for a burger. They still sell hot dogs, but they're charging you the same amount for a burger that you could go and get an actual really good burger.
They also have closed like half of their
There was a
restaurants.
James
too
Coney
on
Island.
that. Yeah.
I wonder
There was a
why.
James Coney Island right up the road from my house, right? And about once every month or two, I would go there because every once in a while you have to have food from the chili cheese food group.
Yeah,
Right?
100%. 100%.
And a Texas style dog with chili and cheese and onions and a ton of mustard. I mean, come on. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I may be leaving here immediately headed to the one James Coney Island I know that still exists and ordering 3 of their like singles with
That's the
Drive a
thing,
little
man.
bit.
They shut mine down
shut
for like
most-
a year.
all of them down.
They refurbed it, opened it up as a JCI grill for 32 seconds, and then
Closed it.
put a sign that says "closed." Thank you all for blah blah blah. And
Now it's a Trill Burgers.
I was going to say, maybe I'll go get a Trill burger. That's what
Yeah,
I'm gonna
hey
do.
man, Trill burgers are nothing to sneeze at. They're pretty darn good.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this hurricane battered edition of Smoking and Toasting. We appreciate it. When we come back, we will be battered by buzzballs. That'll be next week's show.
Buzzballs.
And I can't. Actually, I can wait. I can wait for next week's show. Have a
What's
great
that song?
week.
Hey,
Can't
the
wait.
beverage of mystery never looked so good.
Oh, yes. I'm going to bring something really good for Beverage of Mystery next week, just in case. Have a great week, my friends. We love you. We enjoy drinking with you. Have a wonderful time. And, of course, as we like to say here at Smoking and Toasting,
Cheers, y'all.